So as we probably heard, Jim Gavin, the Fianna Fáil candidate, pretty much pulled out, and with a bang, let's put it that way, because it's just a mess. And this is probably only the beginning of Jim Gavin, what's coming out about it, because there's probably more in the back burner. But one thing for sure, that Micheál Martin looks very stupid. After spending $500,000 or so on promoting Jim Gavin and posters, etc., etc., just for the man to drop out before the election even started, like before even people voted. So for the first time ever, I think in the history to say there's only going to be two people running for the presidency. The only other time I can think about was the first president, Douglas Hyde. He ran unopposed. Nobody opposed him because nobody really were going to oppose one of the people that was promoted the Irish language so much, Douglas Hyde, the first president. But long story short, we all know about why he pulled out, because he owed a tenant 3,300, and his abysmal performance yesterday, saying that it was 16 years ago, he never got around to doing it. That was his excuse, never got around to do it. Oh, I don't know, do I owe the person 3,300? It's not the money, it's the fact of the matter that he definitely knew. Like, there's no way. Like, I for a fact, there was one time I didn't have the money to pay for a meal, and it was only €10. It was at school, and my friend paid for it. It was only €10, and I paid him the next day. The next day I had the money for him straight away. Like, I knew I owed him that €10. Like, at the end of the day, that was only €10. Imagine what you 3,300. I'm sure to God you just don't forget about it one day and then never think of it again. And then letters were unanswered. So some president candidate. But it's particularly this, and I spoke about this before even he ran, when I heard his name even being mentioned, that he was in the Defence Forces, he was in the Army, he was a high up ranking person in the Irish Air Corps. Like, he wasn't just an ordinary grunt in the Defence Forces, he was a high enough up person. Like, he wasn't just an ordinary member of the Defence Forces, he was a high ranking member of the Defence Forces. And he said he didn't know, as you know, and I don't know, does many people know, there was a huge amount of abuse, sexual abuse in some cases in the Defence Forces of female officers being sexually assaulted, etc., etc. The Defence Forces, we still don't know all the information about it because the Defence Forces are hiding it. But he simply should know, like, really, really he should know, because everybody in the Defence Forces knew about it. But he said he didn't know anything. Like, surely to God, in my opinion, being in the army, you should know. You probably should know what's happening in the army and the Defence Force. I know he would say it was the Air Corps and stuff like that, but I'm sure to God he knew. Or something was said somewhere. Like, I know they're trying to defend other members of the Defence Force. That's probably what he's up to. But he surely knew. Like, there's no doubt about it that he didn't know that this is something new to him. It was known for a long time. There was suggestions even 10 years ago that these things were happening, even just recently enough, that these things were happening in the Defence Forces. Surely he knew, being in the Defence Forces, because I heard it 10 years ago, and I'm not even in the army, that there was allegations of people being officers being sexually assaulted, and only women in the army being assaulted, like sexually assaulted, sexually groped, etc., etc. Like, surely he knew about this. Like, surely he did. Like, surely he must have had some recollection that something was going on. So I don't buy it for a second that he didn't know anything at all. Like, he knew something, he must have known. I know he probably didn't want to admit it and, give the army a bad reputation, etc. I understand that bit. But still, at the end of the day, if you ask the question, you should speak truthfully, especially going for hours Nucleon, where he was going for hours Nucleon to he pulled out. And then, not to mention this, this is to do with, he went for a run the other day, and the Defence Forces, the whole organisation, Defence Force, the Chief of Staff, etc., is supposed to be apolitical. What I mean by that is they don't, even though he's a full member of the Defence Forces, they don't take sides. And obviously members of the Defence Forces can't vote, etc., etc., but they're not supposed to, in the uniform, go out and, be with a presidential candidate, somebody that's seeking election. But it's different when the election's said and done and stuff like that. That's fair enough, because he'd be the commander-in-chief if he was president. Thankfully he isn't, and he never will, hopefully. That's a different story, but this was before even the election even happened. You're not supposed to, the Defence Force is not supposed to kind of be seen to be political. But they kind of did, and the Chief of Staff took a video and a photo with him, which is, kind of, in my opinion, does break that a bit. And then, not to mention too, like, Jim Gavin's some man for one man. But yeah, so he didn't get permission for flying drones in a certain area. Now, if this was you and me, our drone would be taken off us and we'd be fine. But nothing was ever done. Great stuff. But yeah, it's just a clusterfuck. Particularly this, it's not fair. So it's just after coming out, just literally when I'm making this video, that the person that the tenant that he owed the money to had a baby around this time too, and they were concerned about the baby's safety. Well, not safety, but they wanted the money for the baby to look after the baby because it was a newborn. So Jim Gavin is, and this is probably only the beginning. Like, there's definitely more to come out because this man has caused some workers in a few weeks. But yeah, Fianna Fáil is in chaos. Not much loss. My local TDs have never been found again. Neil Smith's gone into hiding. All my local councillors are nowhere to be found. All the Fianna Fáil councillors are nowhere to be found. They're all hiding because it's a joke. Because they were heavily pushing him, saying no, he's going to be the next Caesar. And it didn't work out well. And poor Micheál Martin was pushing them heart and soul. And it didn't go well for him either. But yeah, I'm finding it very funny. But to get what they solve. Fianna Fáil. It's all about greed. Fianna Fáil, the party of greed. Let's put it out. Fine Gael's not much better, but surely they're rightly fucked up here now. It's a mess. Like, it is a mess, and there's only 2 people. One for the presidency is insane. Madness. It is madness. But I'm not going to cry over Jim Gavin. Nobody cared about him, to be totally honest. But the only person that's happy at the moment that's actually jumping up and down with joy is Bertie O'Hearn, because he did want to seek the presidency and Fianna Fáil rejected him. But at least we knew he was a crook. I think some people were gaslit by Jim Gavin, thinking he was God himself pretty much. But a lot of people had a great slap in the face from it. But I think we all knew Bertie O'Hearn was a bit of a crook, but at least the crook you knew than the crook you didn't know, if that makes any sense, because it seems like everybody's crooks. But anyway, that's politics for you. But anyway, let me know what you think. I'm going to still spoil my vote, just to say I'm not voting for any of them. I wouldn't vote for them if my life depended on it. If they gave me €500 million, I wouldn't vote for them still. So I'm just going to spoil my vote, because why would you vote for Humphreys or Catherine Connolly? None of them are any addition, to be totally honest. And it's not democracy, really. This is a sham. Like, at the end of the day, what should happen is the election to be delayed, but they would have to go to the Parliament, Dáil and Shannon, to get a vote to extend Michael D. Higgins' term as a temporary, not saying acting president, but temporary acting president until the next election, the end of November. That's what I would suggest, that the election to be delayed until the end of November, by a month, pretty much. For the election to be held again, pretty much, so other candidates can have a chat, etc. Because it's just a shit show now, and Heather Humphreys now, something else will come out about Heather Humphreys, and then it'll be just another shit show. But anyway, let me know what you think, subscribe for more, and bye.